Hello beautiful ones, welcome back to the House of Joseph. If you're new here, it's really lovely to meet you. Thank you for being with me on this lovely Wednesday morning. In fact, it's Wednesday afternoon now. Get it right, man, please. Not, I can't start again, guys. I just physically can't start again because I'm knackered. And I don't have it in me to start again. I just don't. So I'm going to just quickly move on to talk to you about what we'll be talking about today, which is this. This is called the Foundation Balm. This is by a company called Technic, which says up there. I got this from Body Care. It was something like £2.99, possibly £3.99, certainly under £5, certainly a lot less than a large Costa coffee. And this is a wax-based balm. It's really hard to get into. He says it's hard to get into and it opens up really easily. As you can see, I've already had my pores in there, and I have just put some on the back of my hand this morning and when I first bought it, because I bought it for about a week after I moved to Hereford. I discovered Body Care and I went in there and I spent about £20 in there on various different bits and bobs. Not least amongst them was this, which is a dupe of Charlotte Tilbury's Hollywood Filter Magic Flip, you know, the one that's about £50, and this was something like £1.99. We won't look at that today though, guys, if that's okay with you. We'll just focus on this, and I'm just going to tell you quickly what it says on the back. This is in shade Oat Milk, which you can see there, and this is a full coverage, but we're going to play around with it today and have a jolly good play with it. Long wear, water resistant formula that leaves skin feeling hydrated and silky smooth. Possibly a little bit greasy, possibly a little bit waxy, because this isn't a silicone, it's not a silicone based foundation, it's a wax based foundation. So think of the consistency of a lot of stick foundations. They are made from waxes too, microcrystalline wax. And as you can see, the colour, it pulls very slightly too yellow for my Celtic chops. Start again. I can't. I just physically start my sentence again. I don't mean start the whole video again. It's going to be one of those days, guys. It already is one of those. It's a beautiful day in Herefordshire, by the way. I'll try and put a little PIP, a picture down here of what another lovely day. We've had two in the past 2 weeks, something like that. So fingers crossed, and I hope I'm not jinxing myself here by going on and on and on about the weather, as I have a propensity to do. Shall I get back and talk about this this foundation balm? Yeah, it pulls slightly too yellow for my skin, because my skin's got quite a strong cool undertone, and cool equals pink. Neutral, somewhere between yellow and pink, and warm tones would be more yellow. So I imagine that oat milk would suit someone with much more of a warmer skin tone than mine. What do you think to the beard, the moustache, guys? Thank you, Amanda Young, for saying I look like a 1970s porn star. Very kind of you, lovely. That was the intended look, believe it or not. It was, and then I decided to shave the old, you know, the bits that are hanging down, the vampire teeth or whatever they're known. I don't think they're actually known as vampire teeth, but that's what I call them. You know, the little points down there to level him off a little bit. And can you see how white my whiskers are? So, and that would be the entirety of my facial hair now would be exactly that white colour. So obviously it's dyed. FYI, if any of you thought that I had a natural jet black beard and jet black eyebrows, I do dye them. FYI, who knew? I knew, and now you guys know. So, without any further ado, should we put some of this on the old chops? I'm going to use my B Beauty number 301 brush. This is more like a dome sort of foundation brush, and this is the other one I like by them. It's totally flat, and you can sort of get in the nooks and crannies, because being an artist, that you get familiar with certain brushes. What am I talking about? Shall I just, yeah, okay. I'm getting myself a quick cup of tea. Spit and feathers again. And what I used to do in Ely, beautiful ones, and what I'll reinstate and start doing here in Hereford too, is to try some of it on the back of my hand, just so you can see colour match, texture, and I'll give you my first impressions, because although it's got a great big gouge mark out of it, I haven't actually applied this to the old chops yet. Less of old, please. Right, so there's it gives up really easily, and it's almost like a solid to cream to liquid formulation, but let's get some of that on the back of that. It does glide on actually, guys, so we're looking for full coverage here, aren't we? But I'm going to try and change it by, I'll tell you what we're going to do in a minute, guys. got a cunning little trick up my sleeve for today's tutorial, because the first time it stinks like cooking oil, not impressed at all. There'll be the waxes in the oils which are in it. I can't find the ingredients either. How do I know it's a microcrystalline wax? I've done various different tests. I've run my hand under water, and it doesn't feel like it's silicone to me. Could very well be wrong, but it doesn't feel like silicone, so I'm going to treat it as if it is a wax-based foundation. That's a bit of a glare going on. I have to turn one of my glaring students. No, you can see that, can't you, beautiful ones? How are you all? Are you okay? I have missed you all. I have, and I do love you all. I'm not going to start that one now. I'm not going to get all soppy with you. Beautiful. You know how much I love you, don't you? Yes, you do. I'm sure you do. If not, I love each and every one of you very much. I'm not going to say that again today. Possibly towards the end of the video, when I start getting sentimental, a bit tearing, a bit welling up. But okay. So as you can see, it's I'm just hoping it will adjust to. It's not one of those adjusting formulations, although it may very, very well oxidise down to be a more closely match to my face. Let me just feel it back there. It does feel pretty hydrating, although I imagine if it's got loads and loads of oils in it and it is a microcrystalline wax-based foundation, it will offer the skin a level of hydration too. Colour match, let's have a look. Yeah, it has actually just disappeared into the back of that hand, isn't it? And I should have shown you my hand before, but there were quite a few red marks and age spots. Should I just show you that hand compared to that hand? There were loads of those sort of, you know, liver spots, because I am a 50-year-old, nearly 51. Not quite yet though, guys. We'll be 51 in July. But yeah, so can you see, close up of the old, and now the one with the foundation on. It does give a very opaque sort of look to the full cover foundation, so it will give a very opaque sort of look. But I'm going to slap some on the old chops now, why not? So just get your thumbnail, if you've got any thumbnails at all. I don't really have any fingernails at all. They're very, very well manicured, very right down short, because I can't stand any long fingernails. There's never any need for a man with a long fingernail, is there, guys? Let's face it, there's not. Waffling, I get that beautiful one. What was I talking about? Before I go any further, beautiful ones, I must say I'm so sorry about the higgledy-piggledy nature of this video. I've only just found the my latest filming location, which is actually in the lounge, sat on the sofa. So I'm in the lap of comfort and luxury. Warmth, as I've already said, it's a lovely day. I've already turned my heating off. I've got my light there, ring light behind. We've spoken about all of that ad nauseum. So that's why today's tutorial may be a bit slapdash, but you know, as I find my feet again in my new house, then tutorials will look more polished, and I'll just add some music to this one, loads of text down here, and just, you know, edit it as I normally would do, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it may turn out okay. It may turn out to be a load of old rubbish. Something for you guys to watch though, isn't it? It does look a little bit greasy, and it feels really greasy as well. So if you've got oily skin, I would possibly avoid the old foundation balm. I don't know how many shades they do in here. I will find that out and I'll pop that down here. I think they did something like 6 or 10 or something like that. Just grabbing that out of thinner. Haven't got a clue. Stop pretending I know, because I don't. Right, so the next stage would be to put a swatch on the old chops. It does really, really melt into the, I mean, I've only just touched that, and there's loads of that on the fingernail. So, right, let's just, I was expecting this to turn really yellow, guys. I'm looking for full cover. Wow, I've just got a tiny, tiny amount on. Look at that. Get how far that's spreading. It reminds me of butter. Does that make sense to any of you? Of course it makes sense. You're not idiots, are you? You really should stop trying and stop the patronite. Just stop. Right. This is me looking like the Phantom of the Opera now. I'm not going to sing that, guys, don't worry about that. So what do you think? Going for a bit close up. Totally wrong colour. If it was slightly cooler, had a bit more of a pink shade to it, then no, I don't like it, because as I've said, it feels really, really not greasiest. Yeah, it does. It feels greasy, I'm not going to lie. And it stinks. It smells like cooking or vegetable oil, you know, corn oil. It's the only way I can describe it. But I just might try and blend that bit in and see if that makes any diff. I did put a fair amount on, and quite a small amount of, it's quite a small area of my cheek, didn't I? And I don't know whether any of you newcomers to the channel will know, but it's one of my requirements. If I ever do wear foundation or foundation, it's got to be undetectable, and I hardly ever wear it. So, but if you are after a full coverage foundation and you have dry skin and you're nose blind, this could be the one for you guys. Or you don't mind the stench of cooking oil. Right, I'm going to just slap some more of this on using the domed Bee Beauty brush in the 301, wasn't it? Yeah, 301. Try and get it right. So just load up a little more of this, and I'm just going to dab that on. Can you see how much it's picking up? It just picks up loads. A little tip for you beautiful ones out there: when you've got your foundation on your brush, get it on the back of the hand and buff. Buffing just means pressing. And what that's doing is it's helping the foundation to actually, it's pushing the foundation into the foundation brush, so you're laying down less product, if that makes sense. Why wouldn't it make sense? Stop saying to the people, if that makes sense. I know it does make sense. So, you should always start in central parts of the chops. Horrific, isn't it? It's just so pale. And I don't prime my skin either, guys, so. Grabbing, isn't it? It's really, really, really patchy. Look at the state of me. I'm applying this as professionally as I possibly can. Just going to apply it to this side of my face, and then I'll show you my my tip in a minute. Do bring it down onto the neck though, guys. Otherwise you look more ridiculous than I do in a minute. Or as ridiculous. And if you have facial hair, it's an idea to bring it into that too. Any areas which are exposed, skin, so temples, so on. Do the people call them Shirleys? Don't know why I'm thinking that, but Shirley Temple. So beautiful ones, that's one layer of the foundation balm in shade Oat Milk, applied with domed foundation, dry foundation brush. And it's important it is dry because, hang on, skin's looking quite good at the minute, isn't it? It's unified the skin tone, which is the point behind every single foundation. Although every single foundation these days does a million other things than just unify skin tone. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the colour match though. Certainly not sure about the application or application. I think I made a bit of a pig's ear of it, but it's so bright in here. Perhaps I have to turn my other student. Stop moaning. Right. Now then, guys, what I'm going to do with this is I'm not even going to rinse it off. I should do, but I'm just going to go straight in with a cup of water. This has got water in it, hence it's a cup of water. And I'm just going to dip that straight in there. Oh, spill it all over my leg and all over the electrics as well. So if you all disappear in a minute, you know why. Just tap it off. Can you see that soaking wet? Yeah, it is soaking wet. I'm going to go in there. But this may not work, though, beautiful ones. In fact, it's not now. I don't think it's going to work. But can you see that blob of foundation there? Just do exactly the same as you did before. Buff it in. There's water going absolutely everywhere, all over my beautiful new flat, my new house even. Actually, it's changing the colour of it. Wow, that's incredible. And then you just go in with the soaked brush. And this should transform the look of the foundation utterly. Why do I get so excited after I make these discoveries, eh? Very sad, I get all of that, guys, I do. But, you know, for £3.99 or even £4.99, if we can make this one look amazing on my skin, then we have made a discovery today, quite a significant discovery, I always think. And again, it's just a video for you beautiful ones to watch, isn't it? Where else do you get to see a 50-year-old man spilling water all over himself, virtually electrocuting himself, and then slapping loads of foundation all over his chops too, other than the House of Joseph. I'm sure there are other videos on YouTube of that kind, although the House of Joseph is the only place you'll find me doing that. Right guys, so that's, just let it dry, because that was really, really, really wet. It was just soaking wet, and as I said, there's water all over the floor, but just mop that with my socks. So glamorous, aren't they guys? Just move in a little bit so you can have a good close inspection. This is the side we just applied with the dry foundation brush, and I did put quite a lot of the foundation balm on. What do you think? Good coverage, very, very good coverage. Colour match again, issues with. This is the side I've just applied with the soaked Be Beauty domed foundation, but it still is quite damp. On the skin it feels totally different. That side feels, it's dried now, although it feels a bit greasy, and this side doesn't feel greasy at all. It just feels really hydrated. And if you think about it, all moisturisers are or were water and oil mixed together, isn't it? Just following my hand. It's got loads of foundation on the back of them. All moisturisers traditionally was oil and water mixed together, which is exactly what we've just done with the foundation. So it should feel more moisturised on this side than it does on this side, which is just oil really, isn't it? By the mixing of the water. I guess what we're doing there is we're helping to seal in the water. So we've got a layer of moisture, water, a layer of oil and foundation on top, although we have, yeah, okay. Right, let's have a look at that now. Much preferring this side. This side looks far more natural. This has just blocked in my skin, hasn't it? It has. It's just basically covered every single pore, line, and well, he says lines, still quite deep furrows on my forehead. But yeah, no, this side looks really, really nice. Really natural, I would say. And it feels a little bit powdery now too, considering this is an oil-based foundation. It shouldn't be feeling powdery, which is interesting. So if I come back here, not a lot of difference in it. I guess perhaps you could see it on my forehead, maybe. Very, very, very impressed. So the point behind today's tutorial was that if you have something like an oil-based, and how would you find out it's oil-based? You wouldn't have words like dimethicone, silicone, cyclomethicone stuff, and sometimes longer words like Cylclopentasilixone. I'll try and write all of those down here. If not, I'll try and remember to put them in the description. I'll put them somewhere anyway. If the foundation hasn't got words like that, or just silicone, silica, if it hasn't got words like that in it, then it probably isn't a silicone-based foundation. It's more than likely an oil-based or a wax-based foundation, especially if it's a solid to a liquid formulation like this one is. What was I on about? Totally gone again. I'm going to go and clean up my eyebrows, and I'll be back in about half an hour. No, I'll be back in about a split second. See you in a minute. So guys, back from the nether regions of the house. What do you think? Do let me know in the comments whether you think this side is better than this side. I personally am going to go for the right hand side, which will appear left to you, because do remember everything's inverted. Although I think that what I'll have to do in a minute is probably go over and stand in the French windows and film that as well, because it looks immaculate. It looks amazing that side now, doesn't it? Although I think in natural daylight it's going to look hideous. But this side, I doubt if it will. It does still feel really pretty hydrated on this side. This side feels like an oil slick. This side, just my skin just feels hydrated. Not too hydrated though, which is nice. Yeah, that's all I can say about that one really. £3.99 from Technic, which I got from Body Care. They do tons and tons and tons of foundations in there. Okay, beautiful ones. That's my, about 10 to 15 minute long review of the foundation balm by Technic in shade Oat Milk. Final thoughts on it are that very, very, very full coverage and a little bit greasy. It stinks to high heaven of cooking oil. Although with a soaked brush, and you just saw me put the foundation on the brush, dip it straight into a cup of water, slap it straight on the face. If you're uncomfortable about doing that, I would just dip your brush in the water first without the foundation on it, and then dab it off on a cloth or something, and then go in with the foundation so the brush is less soaking wet. Although I only did that for demonstration purposes, really. The final thoughts on this are that the shade is way out. Although for £3.99, less than a cup of coffee from Costa, or less than a meal deal from Tesco's or Sainsbury's, you could have relatively or amazing looking skin on this side, plasticky, waxy looking skin on this side. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. As I said, I do apologise for the hit of just scratching my leg. There are loads of flies in Hereford. My goodness, David and I, every time we go out walking, we're just attacked by hundreds upon hundreds of man-eating flies, and there's just so many of them. It's probably because there's so much dog mess in Hereford, and people just let their dogs poop everywhere. It's horrible. Don't get me on that now. I was just saying, wasn't I, about the, yeah, I'm so sorry about the higgledy-piggledy nature of this review. As I find my feet again in the house, sorry, it will get more and more better, but professional anyway. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And remember, I do love you very much. Getting sentimental now, guys. Remember, I do love you. Take care. See ya. Bye-bye.